Okay guys, so what's the lecture on today? Yep, so it says, I think, rest operator, doesn't it, on the lecture? And yeah, but we'll cover both the rest and the spread. So they have the same syntax. How do we use the operator? What do we type to use it? Either the rest or the spread? 3 dots, yeah? So 3 full stops. And that would be how we use it. So we've got, coming up, we've got a few snippets. We've got 3 snippets. 2 of them are very unimaginative. I apologise for that. So the candle was only sort of re-released, wasn't it? Very, very recently. And one's a bit more creative. So hopefully we can have a bit of fun with that one. So for the first one, this is one of the very unimaginative ones, as you can see. We've got a function here. I'll just zoom in slightly for the guys over YouTube, saying get array of positive numbers. So what I want to do essentially is return an array of these positive numbers. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to have a go at writing that function together. Before we return the positive ones, how would we just return, let's say, -1? No points for this, just a bit of participation if we could. The points will come later. So how would I use this function to just return this first argument here, -1? Any ideas? Start me off, someone. Yeah, Nico?
Well, if you first you need to get an array out of all of them, and then
so just the number on its own for now, just -1, because we're progressively build to getting the positive numbers if we can. Yeah.
Well, you could have an get array of positive numbers a, comma,
whatever. Yeah.
say dot rest.
Okay, so just -1 on its own. Yeah. If I put an argument in there, I could just return a. Yeah, and that would return me -1 for now. Yeah. Okay. Without putting anything in there, without putting any function arguments in, could I also return -1? Not by writing -1, but by using inbuilt JavaScript object. Maybe, who knows? It's possible. Has anyone heard of the arguments object in JavaScript?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? So if I returned arguments, there is a point for this one, definitely. What would it return? Anyone know?
Yeah, everything that is passed to the function.
Everything that was passed to the function. So in this case, that would be all of these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Would it be in an array? Would they be comma-separated lists? I don't know. We're here to learn, right? Never tried it. Okay. What did you say, Vivian? Just a list. So a list of 7 different elements. Okay. I'm going to run it and see what we get. So down here, we've actually got this word arguments with 7 items inside. And then we've got the square brackets. So that sort of looks like an array using the square brackets, right? So, hold on. So, if it is an array, we should be able to just push an extra number on the end, right? We should be able to, let's say, push 6 on the end, if it's an array. Yeah, because it should have access to all the array methods as well, and push is one of those. Okay. But remember what Ricardo said about push. What does push return? Returns the length of the new array. Exactly. Yeah. So maybe instead we should do arguments.push and then return arguments. Yeah. Oh, something went wrong. Type error. Arguments.push is not a function. Okay, so what that means is arguments is not actually an array. It's a special type of JavaScript object. Yeah? It's an arguments object, which contains a list of all the arguments that got passed to that function.
Can you write type of arguments, obviously?
Good question.
It's the same when we operate with the DOM, when we call, for example, the element of the unordered list.
One second, David. Can we come back to that? I just want to do this one first because Bouquet asked, what does it return? Well, what is the type of arguments? And to be honest, I don't really know. So we're going to run it and have a look. I've got arguments. Okay, why is it still saying that? Return type of. Okay, so it just returns object. Yeah, because arguments is an object. It's a special kind of object, but it's still an object then in JavaScript. So there you go. That answers that. Okay, so what was your question, Davide?
It's like when we iterate in the DOM, the list of items in an ordered list. Because I remember I had somewhere which be when you iterate, for example, you have an unordered list. You want to call, you don't have an array, but you have a sort of a node list.
Okay, so Davide is comparing the arguments object in JavaScript to
like in this case,
to a DOM node list.
Something similar.
Yeah, so it's a similar list of elements, whereas in the DOM it would be a list of nodes. So yeah, I can see the comparison, but let's probably stop the comparison there and treat it as just a separate special object in JavaScript, yeah? But having just introduced it, we don't need to know too much about it now, because in 2015, the ... syntax, the rest parameters syntax was introduced to avoid really us having to use the arguments object. It's not considered the best practice anymore to use the arguments object. Instead, we can use the rest parameter. So let's now have a go at jump into what I think Nico wanted to do, which was actually returning the positive numbers. So, for example, if I just put the first couple of arguments in, so we could have our negative number, and then 0, and then we could like go 1, 2, blah blah blah, but you know, we don't want to do that. We want to group all of the positive numbers together into an array. So how could we do that?
First we create an empty array.
Okay. So I've got I'm returning an empty array there. Do we want to do anything to it, or you want to assign it to a variable?
No, we would do like let positives
Okay, yeah.
is equal to an empty array.
Yeah.
And then if the first variable, negative num, is greater than 0, add
So you could, you want a loop now, do you? Or you're saying if positive, if number, or if what? We haven't defined any numbers yet. They're just here as arguments.
we could do
It's not that simple, is it? It's not that simple. You have to think about it a little bit. So, anyone else apart from Nico have a suggestion how we could get the positives?
Can I?
Yeah, absolutely, Willis.
Can we assemble all of them in one array in the argument field?
Yeah. And how would we do that? So we're in the argument field here.
And, I don't know.
So Vilius is saying, can we use the rest parameter to gather all of the remaining arguments
inside one array.
into one array? So what we could call it positives, right?
Positive.
Yeah, makes sense. And then if we want the function to,
Can we remove our negative number 0?
you want to remove these?
Yeah. Why do we need to have like 3 arguments?
Okay.
Might be a mistake, but it's not a mistake.
Sure.
Okay, so return positives.
So if we return positives, positives, yeah.
Dot find.
Find or filter. Find is going to return the first one.
Always, yeah. So filter.
Filter.
Filter. Okay, brackets and elements. I don't know what that. Elements. Lambda.
Lambda.
Yeah, I don't know how to call this.
Okay.
Yeah. Elements.
Positives bigger than 0.
Element bigger than 0.
Yeah.
Like that.
What do we have to actually return here?
An array of all the positive numbers. So an array containing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is what we're looking to return. Yeah?
Maybe.
Okay. So that works. Yeah? So that's a pretty good solution.
But then instead of call positives in the first line, I call numbers.
Exactly, yeah. I don't now like the naming of that because that's not just positives, yeah?
Input.
Because positive looks like they are already positive.
Sure, so we could change that to numbers, that would be more descriptive of what we're actually doing. But can we just gather all of the positives into an array and then return positives by making a little change? So what will that return at the moment if we just left it as is?
It will return an array.
It's going to return an array, definitely. How many elements will that array have? 7, yeah. So it will be an array of all of the numbers, yeah? So that was really why I had those other arguments to begin with. To show that we've got a negative, we've got a 0, and then what our rest parameter is doing is gathering all of the remaining elements all of the remaining elements of these 5 into the positives array, and then we can simply just return the positives.
Basically, we remove at the beginning.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, negative's still here. Yeah, we could maybe reuse that in other parts of our application. Yeah, we've got a -1 there. So we might have needed those arguments. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a theoretical example just to get us used to using this syntax, the ... the rest parameter, to gather all of the remaining arguments into one array. If, for example, I had, let's see, let's put that back. If I had a separate, I don't know, we always put good old Donald Trump in there, don't we? So if I had Donald at the end, how is that going to affect things?
It's going to return the same value in the positive.
Yep, so it's still going to work. It hasn't broken anything, but it's not technically doing what we want, right? Because we've got Donald at the end. So could we put, oops, president. Could we put another variable at the end there just to capture Donald so we're not interfering with our positive numbers here? Would that work or not?
Why not?
So yeah, we've got a bit of red syntax here, so that's given us a hint that it won't work. And the warning is very, very descriptive in this case. It says rest parameter must be the last formal parameter.
From that one,
Yeah.
the infinite to the end.
Yeah, so the way the rest parameter currently works, hopefully maybe in the end we'll be able to do something like this, so we can just extract part of the arguments, exactly what we want. But for now, in JavaScript, then it only supports the rest parameter being the last or only, last or only element, argument there. Yeah, so that does not work. Positives must be the last bit. Yeah?
Yeah. So it's just like the rest of the parameters.
The rest of the parameters, and it gathers them into an array for you. Yeah? Does that make sense, remote guys? Camille, Luigi? Yeah? Any questions on that bit? No? Okay, let's move on to the next example. So here we got, this is the more imaginative one. Here we've got some popularity ratings. You know, we've got Usain Bolt, Denzel Washington, David Attenborough, they're all pretty popular. You know, actors, presenters. Tom Hanks is pretty popular. Lord Voldemort is the villain, not very popular. Theresa May has not been very popular at all lately. She's got a terrible score down there, far worse than Voldemort and Gollum. So, yeah, not too good, not too good. Anyway, so, first question, it's not related to the rest and the spread parameter, but the first question is, these are our scores that I've just hard-coded into here. Yeah, these are our values here. How would I extract those values from an object and stick them in an array? There's another helper function built into JavaScript. So a couple of points for this one. Yeah, I think Vilius got there first, so Vilius is saying object.values. Oops.
And give an object.
And what's my object in this case? I have
Popularity rating?
popularity ratings. Yep. Do we agree, guys? Will this work? Yeah? Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's definitely 2 points for Vilius. Have I got it open? Yeah. Can stick you a couple of points on there, Vilius. Nice one. Okay. So let's get rid of my hard-coded values, because that will work. And then what we want to do is get the maximum popularity rating. So just return the one score that is the highest. So in this case, if we have a look at our data, I think we can agree that that's 89 for David Attenborough. He's the most popular. Everyone likes a good nature documentary, especially narrated by him. Yep, so I've prepared the function here. So I'm just using math.max, and we want to pass that the ratings. Is that okay? Should that work as it is? So the ratings in this case are coming from our rating values here. Yeah, we've called the function with our rating values. Will that work? So what will this return? We can have a little bit of a guesswork here. What will this return? Anyone?
Does it have 90 or 9?
89 is the score, the highest score. So what do you mean, Vilius?
Does it have like 9 something that starts with 9?
Does it have something that starts with
Can
9?
we
Oh, I
increase
see
the
what you're
list
saying.
Like 9?
No.
You want a 9 in the list as well. Let's just leave it as it is for now, and then that's fine. We can add a 9 later. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. So, what do we think that will return? Math.max.
It's going to return the same one before.
Who was that? Suleiman? What did you say?
It's me.
Yep. What was your answer?
Because it's, in case that it was something like 89.9, it would return 90, but it's returning the straight number, so it's not going to make any change, in my opinion.
So just tell me the return value. That's all I'm asking at the moment. What is the return value? 89? 72? 33? What's it? All of them?
Yeah, like before.
Maybe the first.
The whole thing? So the whole object?
It's not maybe the first.
Okay, so it was fine. This is Suleiman's answer, so that people can agree or disagree in a second. So Suleiman's answer was whole object, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the
I mean the values.
All the values of the object.
All the values.
All object values, yeah? Okay. Anyone else? Bouquet, you said?
89.
89. Nico says 89.
Maybe the
The first object. Okay. The whole object or the value within the object? First object in array, yeah? Vilius, what's your opinion?
No, my opinion is the same one. It should return 89.
89, okay.
The last time I used it was, it finds max, you can use min.
Yep, we've got math.max, math.min, yep, very similar functions, so it should return the maximum value, right? Anyone else?
The object of values returns an array of values.
Yes.
So those numbers. So max should work with the array.
So Luigi also agrees it should work with the array, yeah?
Yeah, obviously. So.
Okay, and it returns 89?
Actually, no.
No? No. Okay.
No, you're right. Yes. Doesn't support the array. We should use we should use the rest operator here to return the array.
Okay, so just tell me what you think it returns for now, and then we'll go on to solve it if you think it's not right. Not sure? I'll come back to you. Anyone else want to have a guess? Yeah, let's have a look at the question again, sorry, because I've flicked around here. So, this is the code. Yep, so what will this return? Based on that we're passing in an array of 77, 33, 72, 89, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Ten more seconds and then I'll run it. 89 for Vivian. I'll remember that one, Vivian. You remind me if I could. Error was Luigi. Okay. Anyone else for error? Undefined. Okay. So Pelin says undefined. And then Luigi says error of some sort. That's fine. Vivian was 89 as well. Anyone else who hasn't? Walter, Wendy. Yeah. Okay. So we'll stop it there unless anyone interrupts me, and we will run it. Whoa! What's that? Not a number. I don't think anyone said that. Because it's not technically an error. It returns something. It's not what we intended, but it did return something. Now, why has it done that? That's the question.
Don't go inside the object. You have to give some.
We're looking for a number, right? And what do we pass in to math.max? Everything, but it's an array. It was an array of values we passed in. Yeah, because down here we got object.values, which returns an array of just our values in our object, and then we put that in here and we invoked math.max with that. So math.max doesn't work on arrays. It expects a comma separated list of numbers. Yeah? And that's how it functions. If it doesn't get a comma separated list of numbers, then it says, hang on, you haven't given me a number, not a number. Yeah, that's its return value. So, how would we fix that? That's the question. Yeah, just easy one this one, so just 1 point for this one. But rest operator? Okay, anyone disagree? Where would it go? Up here? But I thought we use that to... Don't we use the rest operator up there? Up there? What's that going to do? Yeah. So this time we're not gathering arguments, we want to spread out our array. And that's the other function of the 3 dots. Yeah, it can either gather arguments if we use it up here, or it can spread things, so we could use it there. Yes, So we wouldn't get an array out, we'd get a comma separated list of all the elements in the array. Yeah? So that's the same as writing don't know what happened to the indentation there. So what this is effectively doing is it's taking that array and spreading it out into a comma separated list like that and so on. Yeah? And then math.max can look at all of these and find the maximum value within them and return what we expect. So I think Walter got there first, so I'll give you that point, Walter. All right. Remind me if I miss it. So now let's run it. 89, as expected. Yeah? Cool. Yeah.
So rest operator is just for numbers, not string.
So that's what I want to come to as well. So you said the rest operator is just for numbers.
Looks like
What we're using the rest operator on here? So it's the spread, yeah, the spread syntax. What we're using the spread?
spreading an array.
We're spreading an array, right? It's not number. We're not spreading numbers because number itself has nothing to spread. It's just a value. Yeah, it's just a primitive. Could we use the spread operator on a string?
Yeah. Wait, can
Will you get all the methods?
shower? Is it not very much? No. Should be.
I don't think so. That doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good at the moment. No, definitely not. So Villiers says we can use it on strings.
Why do you enclose the? Because you don't.
Why don't we enclose the ratings?
No, why did you? Because you're returning the string and the dots. Because argument is ratings.
Yeah. So
And
ratings here is our array. Yeah. But then here I've just got a string. Maybe I should call it something different. Yeah. So yeah, that's a string. Can we spread that string? No? Who said yes? Was that Gamil or Luigi? Oh, no one's owning up. Luigi, was it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Must have been Gamil then. Yeah. Said yes. Okay. So we've got a difference of opinion. So at the moment it doesn't look like it's going to work because we've got unexpected string. We've got a syntax error. So we can't just write it like that. But Villiers said, can we contain it or enclose it in something? So if we enclosed it in an array like that, syntactically that seems fine. It's not complaining. What will that return? Will it work as intended, or what will it return? It will return each letter of the word string, says Bouquet. Maybe. Do people think the same? Not sure? So definitely some points for Villiers, Gamil and Bouquet if this returns an array. Yeah, it will definitely return an array because we've enclosed it in an array with each letter as the element. Yes, we should have 6 elements in that array. Let's see. Hey, look at that. So it's managed to spread the string and put those elements into the array. Why? Because that's the way it works. So if we look at the documentation for, how do what would it be under? REST, MDM. Yes. So that was the next example that I wasn't necessarily getting onto. But you know, you've been doing that before. You've been getting the letters by doing sentence.split with no gap in between. So an alternative to that is you could have, if I just call these chars, it's going to be the same thing, right? Chars letters in this case. We could have instead done, whoops, no, not like that. So return an array, ... sentence, right? Sentence.
We split, we can use different way to split. Is rest operator?
Yes, we
only single letter.
yeah. So split is more powerful, definitely, Davide. Yeah. But just in this case, I'll just show you that they do the same thing. So sentence.split. So we're returning letters at the moment. So we're doing the sentence.split version. And we get 18, this is a sentence, yeah. If instead we return our characters, 18, this is a sentence, yeah. So those two lines there are equivalent in this case. Sentence.split with no spaces and spreading the sentence into an array. And sentence in this case is a string, as we can see down here. Yeah. So there was a question before that, I've forgotten it. Oh yeah, so we were just looking at the documentation. So we got asked why does it work, which is always a good question. I'm glad you're curious. I'm just looking for so we sort of touched on arguments. Yeah. Maybe have to double check all of what it works on, but I wanted to ask the question, will it work on any iterable? So I'll post it on Slack afterwards, but I'll just double check for you whether it does work on any iterable. Ooh, don't want to see that. Okay. Let's just finish off by asking two more questions, in fact. So the first question is, we know it works on strings. We can spread strings. We know we can spread arrays. Will it work on any other data types?
You will work on a set.
So Pellin said object. Let's test the object theory. So we've currently got popularity ratings as an object. Yeah? So if I wanted to return a new object with popularity ratings in it and a new person, how popular is this guy? Give me a score out of 100. 0. 0. Woo! Even worse than May. Could I do something like that, or how would I do something like that? How would I return a new object with Donald Trump added on to it?
So Donald Trump can go at the beginning.
Can we put him at the beginning? I can put him at the beginning. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but yeah, I can put him at the beginning.
Or vice versa. Spread.
So we need to spread. Are we going to try and spread this object? Popularity ratings. Oh, yeah, I see what I've done. So I had my quotes in the wrong place, didn't I, there? So I just wanted my quote around my key rather than my whole key value pair. So syntactically, that looks okay. what will that return?
An object?
An object. I agree with that because we're returning an object literal there with our curly braces or curly brackets.
Yeah.
What values will that, well, what key value pairs will that object have in it?
So
Donald Trump, definitely, yeah. And then
you're saying
we're hoping it has all of these in as well, yeah? Because it's spread each key value pair into a new object. Let's run it.
Go at the end, or?
Let's see. So you think Donald Trump will be first and then
yeah.
the rest should be at the end, okay? So, yeah. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So Donald Trump, it looks like, has gone first there, and then all the others have been put in. But when we expand it, we can see that, oh, hold on, it's sort of organised them to be alphabetical. Well, okay, maybe that's a DevTools thing. Or maybe we can't guarantee the order with objects necessarily. But yeah, it looks like he's gone in first, yeah.
It's sort of. Oh, can we change the Teresa to 9? Actually.
Can we do what?
Teresa made a rating to 9.
You want to change Teresa's rating to 9?
I want to see Max because I remember I had an issue because I remember it's a.
Okay, this was Villiers' other question. Will this affect? And are you expecting 9 to be the maximum score now then, or?
I mean, maybe I can't remember because I found an edge case where it's different.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of.
So just to clarify that point that we made before, then yes, we can definitely spread objects. That didn't come in 2015. That come at a bit of a later date, but now we can also use the spread parameter to spread objects. Yep, so the last question then posed by Villiers is, will we still get 89 as our maximum, or will it in fact be 9? Because 9 is greater than 8, the first digit in the score. Yeah.
Can you scroll down?
Sorry, yeah. Scroll down to
The bottom?
right at the bottom.
Yeah, just there. Where you
Just-
forward,
Yep. So I'm passing in this. So it should just be an array of all of these values, yeah, the ones in green. And then we're returning math.max, spreading the ratings. People are thinking 9? 89, okay. 89. Yeah, let's run it. Still 89, Billy. Yeah, because math.max is clever enough to interpret numbers correctly as numbers and not.
It would be 9 in strings.
Yes. Yeah. Well, math.max wouldn't work with strings, but yeah, I get your point. Yeah, if it's doing some sort of comparison of what is greater, then it might think that 9 is greater than 89. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We're pretty much going to have to leave it there, but there are just a couple of extra points up for grabs on this question here. So I'll send the snippet over, and if anyone can make this function return the actual name of the most popular person, then that's an extra 3 points on the board challenge. I'll type it up in Slack, but if you can make this function, get max popularity, to return the person rather than the score. So in other words, we want it to return David Attenborough. Yeah? How would you do that? You don't tell me, just write it in Slack and then send it to me. The first one that I get will be 3 extra points on the board challenge. Yeah? Suleiman, sorry, you got a question before we end?
No, I was just gonna ask.
Type it up in Slack, send it to me. First one who gets there, 3 points. Yeah? All right, I'll send over the snippet, but thanks for that, guys. Cheers.